Alright guys, Dusty here, and in this video we're diving into PvP in Dune Awakening. I'm gonna be real with you, PvP in this game right now, it's kinda rough and not good. But if you want to actually get better at on-foot combat, this is the guide for you. I've spent hours testing it, fighting in deep desert and learning the hard way. So I'm breaking down everything you need to know: weapons, armors, skills, tools, and straight up tactics to help you survive and win your fights. Let's get into it. A few days ago I decided to head out there with one goal: to find players and test out the real on-foot PvP. I won't lie, the experience itself wasn't super fun at first, but I did start to see where the potential is. The system needs polish, but there's something there. After that I hit up one of my friends and we both jumped into the deep desert to run a proper 1v1. We dropped the party, picked a quiet spot and started testing everything. Weapon, dodging, timing, the whole thing. So in this video, it's everything I learned from that experience. All the footage is real and I'll be walking you through the weapons, the builds, the mistakes, and what I do differently now. Right now your melee options in Dune Awakening are pretty limited. You've got the rapier, the dagger, and the sword. That's it. After fighting a few players and testing things out with my friend, there was one thing that became very clear to me: attack speed and status effect matters way more than raw damage. You can have a sword that hits like a truck, but it's slow and doesn't have any kind of status effect on it. You're gonna get outplayed. People will dodge, poke, and chip you down with faster weapons. So my go-to is 100% rapier. It has the same attack speed as daggers, but with more range, better gap closing, and just overall more control during a fight. And because PvP is still kinda janky in places like movement and dodging not always working properly, being able to stick to your target and keep pressure on is huge. On the other hand, daggers aren't that bad. If you get one with a strong status effect, it can do work, but when both weapons swing at the same speed and the rapier has better range and control, that's a clear winner to me, and to you it should be as well. So what about sword? Look, unless you've got some insane perks or a really specific build, I just don't see a point in using it right now. It's clunky and it leaves you wide open. Bottom line, prioritize attack speed and status effects over raw damage. That's the key takeaway here. Hopefully they add more melee options in future, but for now, rapier's the king. Alright, let's go deeper into PvP, not just weapons, but also dodging, spacing, and timing, which are super important if you actually want to win fights consistently. Now I didn't want to cram everything into one video because that would have been way too much, so in this part we'll focus on ranged weapons and specifically which ones work against Holtzman Shields. Because let's be honest, if your weapon can't penetrate those, it's just not viable in 1v1. Forget about the standing face-to-face trading shots with rifles. That just doesn't happen in proper duels. Most players will try to close the distance and go melee, unless someone's being sneaky, trying to chip you with a few shots, dodge away, then go in again. I've seen it and yeah, it might work, but only in some cases. You definitely need range weapons that go through the shield and put pressure on stamina. That's where the drill shotguns come in. Don't shoot both shots back to back. That's how you end up stuck reloading while you're dodging. Instead, shoot one, wait for the dodge, then shoot the second. So from there, either go in with your rapier or keep your distance and keep chipping with drill shots. Important while doing this, manage your stamina and spacing, because if you're constantly dodging and reloading at bad times, you're gonna get caught. Be smart with when you shoot and when you dodge. The next weapon is absolutely cracked in the right hands, especially if you have a unique variant that does extra damage when you start charging. It's the Disruptor Pistol, a must-have. It breaks Holtzman Shield and 2 charge hits are enough to disable it for full 5 seconds. That's more than enough time to finish the fight. The sound of it charging is intimidating, so your enemy knows they have to dodge or back off or they're getting deleted. And once their shield is lower down, swap to sword or your rapier, knee charge, go in hard and just keep hitting them. Yes, charging a weapon might sound like a liability, but trust me, once people hear it, they will panic and you can punish that. Alright, so now that we've locked in our melee weapon and range weapon, let's talk armor and loadout, because you're not going out there naked, right? What you wear and carry into PvP is just as important as the weapon in your hand, and trust me, I've tested this in real fights. The most critical thing to manage in combat is your stamina. The armor you wear directly affects that, so here's the deal. Light armor is the move, and I'll tell you why. With light armor you lose less stamina when dodging, sprinting or using abilities. Each piece is reduced stamina usage by something like 6% to 10%, and when you stack multiple pieces that adds up. you could be saving 30% to 40% stamina, which gives you a serious edge in long fights. Not only that, you just move better, you feel quicker, more responsive, you're not stuck in the mud like you are with heavy armor. Now I'm not saying heavy armor is trash, it has its place. For example, you can throw on a heavy chest piece to absorb more damage in range fights where you're likely to take more direct hits, or go with a heavy helmet to protect your head. But full heavy armor, it's not a no from me unless you're playing a specific range loadout. And here's the key point, it's not the armor rating itself that really saves you in PvP, it's your Holtzman Shield. That shield takes the brunt of the damage before your actual health get touched. Depending on the MK tier of your shield, MK2 to MK5, you get a higher threshold before it breaks. That's your real first line of defense. Once it's gone, you're exposed. That's why heavy armor is better for range builds. When you shoot, your shield turns off temporarily, so having actual armor helps in those moments, but in melee fights, mobility and stamina win. Now let's get into your loadout, because if you don't have the right gear, and more importantly, if it's not assigned to easy access hotkeys, you're going to get clapped. Here's the 3 essentials you need in your PvP loadout aside from weapons: water container, high tier medkits, and vehicle backup tool. You need water container to stay hydrated. This is a non-negotiable item. Your stamina regen slows down if you're dehydrated, so you need to have that in your loadout. The next one is the high tier medkits. If the fight goes sideways, from there you can use your grappler to get out, pop up a high tier medkit, and get back in the fight with the full bar. Make sure it's bound to something you can hit under pressure. The next one is the vehicle backup tool. You will get third partied. It's not a matter of it, but when choppers start showing up, you hear engines closing in, you gotta get out. Having your vehicle's tools ready lets you bail before you get swarmed. So yeah, make sure to have these 3 items assigned. The first one was the water container, the second is the high tier medkits, and the third one is the vehicle backup tool. Alright, now when it comes to skills section, let's start with the swordmaster skills. These are essentials if you're focusing on close quarter combats and melee duels. The meta shifts almost weekly. That's it, here's my personal top picks right now. The first one is the knee charge. This is a must-have. This is a go-to ability, aggressive and defensive at the same time. You can use it to push in, escape, or interrupt. It staggers the enemy when it hits, which is massive in PvP. Once you break their poise, you can follow up with the heavy attacks and punish hard. Pair it with certain passive or techniques, which I will talk about later or in another video, and you're dealing 325 damage with 160 poise damage, which has only 10 to 15 second cooldown, and that's a fight changer right now. Now if you combo knee charge with Eye of the Storm, oh man, you're gonna melt people. If you're getting surrounded, this skill gives you a shot at taking down 1 or 2 enemies and making it out alive. Sure, 1v3s aren't always realistic unless they're under-geared or just bad, but this skill gives you a fighting chance. It hits for 140 damage per swipe, with 3 or 4 swipes per activation. That's around 560 total if they eat the whole combo. It's got a 16-second cooldown and only costs 15 stamina, which is totally worth it. For the third skill, which is kinda situational and kinda tricky, a lot of people, myself included, are using the grappler from the trooper skill tree. It's not technically a skill in the traditional sense, but it might as well be a core ability at this point. It's just too useful, repositioning, escaping, getting high ground, or even closing distance. But if they ever remove grappler or make it a gear based item, then my go-to replacement would be inspiration from the Swordmaster tree. It buffs your blade damage by 35% for 20 seconds, for 23 seconds with only a 20 seconds cooldown, stacked with the spice or any other damage boost, and you're turning every hit into a bone crusher. Another option could be Retaliate, also from Swordmaster, which is great if you're good at timing and want to counter hard. So yeah, my ideal combo is knee charge plus Eye of the Storm, then grappler, or inspiration if you want that pure damage. You're staggering enemies, closing gaps, and creating windows to land big hits. Now I could go deep into passive and techniques, but this video would turn into a 40 minutes breakdown, so for now just focus on anything that boosts your max stamina, stamina regen, and healing. Look through the Swordmaster tree and you'll find a bunch of useful options. Stuff that improves your hydration, stamina recovery speed, healing bonuses, and so on. And if you want me to make a video about passives, techniques, and how to build them, what is the best build, let me know in the comments and I'll drop a full breakdown video for that. If you enjoyed it, make sure to drop a like and leave a comment down below. Even a quick one helps push the video out for more people. I appreciate all the support. See you in the next one. Much love, and as always, peace out.